Fight, fight, fight. That's what took place at Bears training camp today. Welcome into Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. Things got chippy out there at today's training camp practice. Just going to sprint through a series of tweets with reporters who were there. Courtney Cronin saying this has been the definition of a get-right practice for the Bears offense. Roschon Johnson pounding in a couple of runs at the goal line. Heavy run emphasis so far. Intensity, it was an 11 from the start and led to a scuffle post whistle just now. She added, I've counted 4 skirmishes today, including the last one between Braxton Jones and Austin Booker that ended with Gervon Dexter pushing Jones to the ground. Zach Pearson says another scuffle. Roschon Johnson wasn't happy with the few guys tackling him after the play. He throws the football right at Jonathan Owens and then took him to the ground. And then lastly, Brad Biggs, who's been around for a while. Bears wrapped up a 2-hour practice that was the most physical in terms of live hitting that I've seen since early in the Lovie Smith era. They got after it today. And for guys who've been there for a while, Adam Johns, Adam Hogue, Pat Finley, all these guys tweeting out, all basically saying similar stuff. The physicality, the intensity, not something they've seen in a long time. I saw Adam Johns say they did some tackling in 7-on-7s, which is pretty unheard of in 2025. And that fires me up. It also tells me what I said yesterday. It's time for these boys to face a different opponent. Off day tomorrow. Get a practice, probably a light-ish practice in on Thursday, and then the Dolphins come to town for joint practice on Friday. I'm sure that chippiness and edginess will be there for that as well. And I just want to say, again, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, and obviously we haven't seen games and we haven't seen this team hit adversity, but Ben Johnson is living up to the billing. Not just to being a smart offensive guy, more so in he does have some of that Dan Campbell in him. And people questioned if he could be a leader of men, if he could be a tough guy. I think he's a tough guy. I think he has set a clear, high standard of, hey, we're going to be physical. We are going to build calluses both from a mental toughness and physical toughness standpoint. Call me crazy. I don't even remember them live tackling under Matt Eberflus. You would hear reports last year, yeah, we're an hour into practice, and they've basically just stretched and done drills on air. These boys are hitting for 2 hours. It's just a completely different vibe, but more importantly, a completely different standard, and that is the key. And it's just nice to see this. It's a good bounce back because it sounded like FanFest. Not necessarily lackadaisical, but Ben Johnson was not pleased with that practice. Walked through yesterday and today, the fellas got after it. And good day to get after it like this because you get rewarded with the day off tomorrow, built into the schedule. So I'm fired up. I'm ready for the real thing. And it was good to see all the reporting of the violence and physicality and tone setting that we saw at today's practice. Now, the Bears do face the Dolphins on Sunday and with the joint practice on Friday. And some of you know this, some of you don't. Our old producer, Rolly, is now the host at Dolphins Today, and he started a sub battle. And they actually have an early lead on us this week, 63-42. You think we're going to lose to Rolly and Dolphins Today? We better not. Hit that subscribe button. We're bringing you content every single day. Let's take down the Fins and new subscribers this week, and let's beat their ass in joint practice and on Sunday as well. All right, the play of the day, and today's practice was a lot of goal line and short yardage work. It was the final offensive install of camp per Ben Johnson, which I think is a notable development as well. From here, they'll kind of figure out which installs they like, which ones they want to lean into more, and which ones they may not want to. But the play of the day was Caleb Williams hitting Rome Odunze on a perfect 48-yard deep ball up the sideline. I tweeted out the joke because I haven't seen a clip yet. We'll see if the Bears tweet it out. Fans weren't there, so no leaks. But I tweeted out jokingly saying, yeah, I'm sure this clip will make the rounds, kind of referencing the net drill that had everybody's panties in a wad. I care more about the actual team drills of throwing to the players and running actual plays, which offer more context than something else. But that's nice to see, and it's a positive development too because you're hearing more and more of here's a deep ball hit there, there's a deep ball hit there. I think it's still probably a work in progress, but that was a big issue last year. Caleb was all over the map with his deep ball accuracy, and as camp has gone on, he's hit more and more of them. So you know, it's just nice to see. And I said too that it's not like you're going to throw 8, 10 deep balls in a game, but when you take those 2 or 3 shots, you hit one of them, it can change a game. It really, really can. So that's very, very exciting. And just thinking about the personnel you have, you're going to get a lot of one-on-one opportunities because if DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and/or Olamide Zaccheaus, plus Colston Loveland and/or Cole Kmet, more on Cole Kmet in a second. Not great news there, a little teaser for you. If these guys are all on the field at the same time, you can't bracket them all. You can't, you can play zone coverage. So if you do that and drop 7 or 8, okay, just kind of quick game, pick them apart. Or if they go into man coverage, you get some one-on-one looks with either Rome or DJ. I like my guys' chances in that situation, especially with a guy like Rome Odunze going vertical. So, good to see that chemistry build and for Caleb to start hitting some of these vertical passes because if he can get the deep ball to a point where it's at least average to above average, then it makes the rest of the game a whole lot easier as well. All right, some other practice notes. Roschon Johnson in those goal line drills had a couple of touchdowns. I think you're seeing roles start to develop, by the way, because there was other reporting that Kyle Monangai got a lot of the work with the twos behind DeAndre Swift. So I think you're seeing roles at running back particularly start to take shape. DeAndre Swift, the starter, Kyle Monangai, the 2, and then Roschon, the goal line / short yardage back. And that all makes a lot of sense to me, so that's exciting. Tyson, Bagent, Luther Burden, they've been building a nice connection. Burden's been running a lot with the twos as he's been playing catch-up. Another nice completion to Burden today. Bagent's been heating up. He's had a nice, last week and a half of camp as well. And then Theo Benedict, the Canadian Eagle, if you remember Hard Knocks last year, he got some reps with the ones in these goal line packages. And if you paid attention to Detroit last year at all, short yardage, goal line, they'd bring an extra tackle on the field. And so that could be some of the thinking here. Clay Harbor had the note that Theo Benedict is getting reps with the ones. Don't forget that Ben Johnson loves using 3 tackles. Dan Skipper, anyone? Could this be your Dan Skipper where this guy plays, 4, 5, 7 snaps per game as that extra tackle? Now, Cronin Magaji's been banged up, so, maybe he's that guy when he's back, but maybe they like Benedict in a certain role. Maybe he's a guy that leaks out every once in a while on a hard play action, and you throw him the ball in the end zone. They did that with Dan Skipper a couple of times, so keep an eye on him. He's been getting some reps with the twos a lot. It seems like he's that 4th tackle right now with Ozzie Trapillo. By the way, depth chart. I've got him in there as the starter right now, but obviously still competing with Braxton Jones, Cronin Magaji, and then Benedict seems to be in the mix there as well. I guess 5th tackle if you factor in Darnell Wright, obviously, but decent chance that he makes this team as well, which would be kudos to him because practice squad last year, dealt with an injury, stuck around, and now has a chance to make the 53. So keep an eye on Theo Benedict during the preseason. All right, coming up, 2 players did exit practice, including a notable starter. We're going to tell you who that is here in just a second. But first, Brunt, the best working boots I have ever owned are Brunt. And you should get some as well. Get $10 off with code CHAT. Listen, I own a house, and there's always things that come with that, positive and negative. The negatives is sometimes you got to do little projects. Like recently, had to do some tree trimming. I was out there with the fellas helping them haul stuff out, and listen, I was out there in my Brunt boots, and just made the job a whole lot easier. They're just comfortable, the most comfortable boots I've ever worn. They are lightweight, waterproof, slip and oil resistant, heat resistant, and electrical hazard rated. Before I found Brunt, I can't tell you how many different working boots I tried and went through. I always left with foot pain, blisters. They weren't waterproof, so my socks would be soaked. The Marin boots, which are the ones I use, they are waterproof, and they do offer that resistance that I was talking about to get these jobs done, especially if you work in construction, if you're on job sites all the time. I can't recommend these boots enough. 500,000 plus customers have used Brunt. You should be one of them, as they let you try their boots on the job risk-free, and all of their products have free shipping as well. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work way too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up, so they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built to last. For a limited time only, our listeners get $10 off at Brunt when you use code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com. You can also go to bruntworkwear.com/chat. That kind of inserts the promo code for you. Get $10 off. After you order, they'll ask where you found out about them. Tell them we sent you. Bears Now by Chat Sports. Link is in the comments and description. Promo code CHAT at bruntworkwear.com/chat. Okay, Cole Kmet, is he injured? Well, he did exit practice and was visibly frustrated, per Mark Carmen of CHGO. A couple other reporters had the note that he left practice as well. Happened after a 7-on-7 drill. So I would say unclear in terms of what the injury is. Is it serious? Did he just get dinged up? It was obviously a physical practice today. Maybe he had the wind knocked out of him. Who knows? But he did not return, and it was relatively early in practice, it seemed like, about halfway through. So this is something to keep an eye on. It would certainly be a notable loss if he missed any time whatsoever, because obviously, look, you've got Colston Loveland, and that's great, and he's been making a lot of plays. But then after that, you've got Durham Smythe, who's a fine player. Joel Wilson, we'll see if he and or Stephen Carlson push for a roster spot. Jordan Murray's been banged up as well. So you are a little thin at the tight end position. If we know anything about Cole Kmet, he's tough as hell. He's never missed a game in 5 years. So unless it's something crazy serious like a tear or something like that. And he did walk off with the trainer, so that would lead one to believe it's not some serious leg injury, so that's a good news. Maybe it's, midsection arm. I don't know. Hopefully we get more clarity soon. They don't practice tomorrow, so we probably won't know anything until Thursday at the earliest. Obviously, the joint practice Friday. If he's banged up, I would imagine they keep him out of that. He's one of those players that just be ready to go by week 1. If he misses some of the preseason, that's totally fine, kind of like Jalen Johnson on offense. Guys who have been here longer, guys that you kind of know what they bring to the table. Sure, every rep matters. This time does count, but it counts a little less for these guys compared to the younger crop that are trying to kind of just find their way in the league. But definitely one to keep an eye on, because if Cole Kmet were to miss serious time, you may have to go sign a tight end. I think you'd be okay with Loveland and Durham Smythe, but it is still a rookie, and Durham Smythe has some limitations. I don't think you're playing him a heavy workload, so you'd maybe want to consider signing a vet. If it was a serious injury, would you bring back a guy like Mercedes Lewis? He at least knows what he's doing. So another name I would just throw out there. I don't think we're there yet. We don't know enough at this point in time. But other than Jalen Johnson, who's been sidelined, this would easily be your most notable injury up to this point in camp. And the Bears have been pretty lucky so far in camp. Nothing major. Even Jalen, it's not like season ending or anything like that. Still a decent chance he plays week 1, and if not, probably by week 2 or week 3. Okay, concern level with Cole Kmet's injury, scale 1 to 10. I'll just put it a 5 because we don't know enough, but it's still not a 1 or a 2 because it is one of your key contributors offensively. So I'll give it a 5 out of 10. Okay, Doug Kramer also left practice. Second time he's been nicked up in camp. He missed a couple days with a leg injury. Unclear what the injury is this time. Mark Carmen, a couple other people had the note that he got clocked on a play, so may have just gotten his bell rung. So we'll see what happens there. Carm said that got back to the huddle and instead of doing the next play, checked himself out. So clearly something was off with Doug Kramer, who's in the mix for that backup center job, backup interior offensive lineman. A lot of guys working in and out there to see who makes the 53. Ben Johnson did have or was asked about the preseason, how they're going to handle Caleb, who's going to play, who's not. He said it's to be determined, that they will meet as a staff tomorrow on the off day and determine who plays, how long they play, what the game plan is for Sunday. He also said, still has to talk to Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins coach, not only about joint practice, but sometimes what you see is when you do these joint practices, sometimes there's a mutual kind of agreement of like, hey, if you guys play your ones, we'll do it as well. Or if you guys don't, we won't either. Because it doesn't make a ton of sense if one team is playing their starters and the other isn't, because those reps just lose value. So I'll be curious to see kind of how they approach it overall. I think Caleb needs to play some. I said that earlier. I'll say it again. But if the Dolphins are running their twos out there and Ben Johnson wants to hold his starters out, I would get that. I hope that's not the case. I would love it, even if it's just like, hey, we'll play our guys one series each. Cool? Like that would be great with me. Now, it's a little different too because Tua, he's been around for a while, 4th year in that system, concussion history. I understand Mike McDaniel not want to play him, but if he's willing to play his first team defense, then I would put Caleb in the starters out there, at least most of them. Maybe you don't play Joe Tooney or something like that, but we'll see kind of where that goes. And then right before filming, this news came in. Jordan Addison officially suspended for 3 games, which of course means he will miss the opener against the Bears at Soldier Field. So it's a pretty big development. I might dive into this a little bit more on a video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. We'll see if he appeals. I imagine he might, but even if he does, it's not going to go from 3-0. It might go from 3-2, 3-1. He is getting suspended for at least the opener, so the Bears will not play Jordan Addison when the Vikings come to town in Week 1. Remember, that's J.J. McCarthy's first start, so being without a premier weapon is a pretty big deal for the Vikings, and that's a nice little break for the Chicago Bears. All right, that's going to do it for this episode of Bears Now. Hit the subscribe button. Let's take down Dolphins today and Rolly, and new subscribers this week we have from now until the end of Bears Dolphins on Sunday, so let's get that done. Appreciate your love and support. We'll see you next time. Bear down.